What we are seeing today is a fundamental shift in the American power dynamic, a moment where the fiery rhetoric of a political outsider finally slams into the cold, hard wall of institutional bureaucracy. For years, we heard the promise, release the files, show us the names. But as we watch this high-stakes exchange between a sharp-eyed congressman from Maryland and FBI Director Kash Patel, it becomes clear that the Black Book isn't just a folder in a cabinet. It has become the ultimate litmus test for government transparency in 2026. This isn't just about Jeffrey Epstein anymore. It's about whether the people we put in power can survive the very standards they once demanded of others. The body language in this room is telling a story that the transcript alone cannot capture. Notice the way Director Patel sits, shoulders squared, leaning slightly back, a posture of practiced defiance. He isn't the same man we saw in the Glenn Beck clips. Back then, his hands were moving, his voice had that revolutionary edge. Now, as director, his speech is clipped, defensive, and wrapped in the protective armor of legal limitations. On the other side, the congressman is leaning forward, literally bridging the physical gap between them, using Patel's own past words as a psychological anchor. It's a masterclass in confrontation where the silence between the sentences is just as loud as the accusations. One of the most shocking pivots in this video is how Patel handles the Black Book question. He tries to redefine the terms of the debate by claiming the Rolodex has already been released, referring to documents that journalists unearthed years ago. It's a classic linguistic dodge. The congressman doesn't take the bait, calling it out immediately as a tiny fraction of the actual evidence. We are talking about seized computers, email servers, and financial records, the actual infrastructure of a global trafficking ring.
Yields back. Gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, before you joined the FBI, you railed against it for covering up Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring. Let me refresh your memory with this clip.
It has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
So you finished that December 2023 interview with a challenge to the FBI and harsh words for Republicans in Congress for not getting the Epstein files out to the public. You can see this clip.
Boy pants, and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are, you said. You emphasized that the president and FBI director each had complete authority to release Epstein's client list. You said Epstein's Black Book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. Look at this clip.
This is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
All right, so you were sworn in as director more than 200 days ago. Now the Black Book is under your direct control. So why haven't you released the names of Epstein's co-conspirators in the rape and sex trafficking of young women and girls?
The Rolodex, which is what everybody colloquially refers to as the Black Book, has been released.
Oh, no, you're talking about what the journalist got 5 years ago? No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what you were talking about there,
That's
the Black
exactly
Book
what I
under
was
the
talking.
direct control of the FBI director.
We have released more material than anyone else before. The Biden administration, Obama administration had the exact opportunities to release this material, and they never did. And if you are selling the men and women of the FBI,
why
we're not
have you
going after
changed your
child predators.
position?
Hang on, you said we're not going after child predators. 1,500 child predators arrested this year, 35% increase,
I'll reclaim my time.
4,700 child victims
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to reclaim my time if you could instruct the witness. Why have you changed your position? There you were saying it's under the direct control of the FBI director and all of it should be released. Why have you changed your position?
Everything that has been lawfully permitted to be released has been released. And as I told you,
Really?
the investigation was limited. And let me make something crystal clear. I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic other people, other women, and they're not other victims. This is the investigation we were given from 2006, 7, and 8, and the search warrants from 2006, 7, and 8. That's what we're working with.
Well, wait, have you released all of the stuff that the FBI has seized from Epstein's house? The computers, the emails, the file cabinets, the documents. What about the financial records? Have you released all of that?
Everything the court has allowed us to
Which
release.
court are you talking about?
3 separate federal courts have come in and said.
We're talking about the evidence you've got. It's got nothing to do with what those courts have.
Do you have any idea how the law works?
Wait.
Do you want me to break the law in a federal judge's order?
No, I want you to follow your own word, Director Patel. You said up there it was under the direct control of the FBI director. He had the black book.
Everything I have direct control over, we have gone to court. You haven't.
Complete your sentence. Everything you have direct control over, you said.
Have gone to court, and everything we have direct control over.
Complete your sentence. You said everything.
Release. We're releasing.
He'd like to complete his answer.
The loophole Patel is hiding behind now is a series of federal court orders. The man who once said the director has direct control is now saying his hands are tied by a judge. This is a massive credibility gap that effectively rebrands the FBI from a hunter of predators back into a gatekeeper of secrets. But there is a detail in this exchange that most people are going to miss, a subtle shift in how Patel mentions the Biden and Obama administrations. He's trying to nationalize the blame, turning his own lack of movement into a historical critique. It's a pivot away from what I will do to what they didn't do. Wait right there, because the most intense part of this interrogation happens next, when the congressman pushes Patel to finish a sentence that could change the entire legal landscape of this investigation. You need to see how the tension breaks in these final minutes to understand what's actually being hidden. Keep watching to see the moment the mask truly slips. Before we get back into the heat of that interrogation, I want to talk to you directly. If you appreciate this kind of raw, professional analysis, where we look past the talking points and actually scrutinize the people in power, you are in the right place. We don't have a corporate board telling us what to say, we have you. So do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. It's the only way to ensure you're getting the breakdown of what's actually happening in DC without the filter.
You began the sentence, everything you have direct control over, and then you stopped that sentence. You've released everything that you have direct control over?
And I have direct control over and can lawfully release. If you're not familiar with the court orders, that's not my fault.
Oh, I'm perfectly, I'm perfectly familiar with them. But how did we prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell?
She was prosecuted with the investigatory material that was collected from 2001 and 2005 because of the non-prosecution agreements and the court orders on the investigations and search warrants. We were not able to develop new information. And oh, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein was out for 12 years and the Obama and Biden administration did nothing to look at his work, his pedophile network. If you want to blame me, that's fine. But now you're blaming the men and women who conducted this great search.
Stop that. I'm not blaming anybody other than you. You're not keeping your word. You said that you would release all of the materials under your direct control.
Has anyone released more information on Epstein than I have? Has anyone?
Much more.
Did Comey? Did Ray?
Much more. Excuse me. Much more has come out in the days since the American people in Congress have been demanding it. But it's coming out in dribs and drabs. Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
I literally just told you, there are multiple federal court orders. I'm not going to break the law to satisfy your curiosity. You didn't join us when we filed court to release the court orders. You could have. You have lawyers. You could have shown up. You didn't do that.
That's a tiny fraction of the material we're talking about.
That is not.
It is a tiny fraction.
How do you know that? Have you seen everything?
It's all misdirection.
How do you know that?
The time of the gentleman has expired.
Now let's look at the loyalty factor. The congressman is hitting Patel on his word, but Patel is hitting back with stats. 1,500 child predators arrested, a 35% increase. It's a professional redirection tactic. If you can't answer for the greatest predator in history, you talk about the 1,500 others to make the criticism seem unfair. But notice the loophole. Arresting current predators doesn't explain the silence on the co-conspirators of the past. The mention of Ghislaine Maxwell's prosecution is a critical factual anchor here. Patel claims the investigation was limited by non-prosecution agreements from 2006, but the congressman is pointing out that the evidence, the physical files seized from the islands and the mansions, is sitting in a DOJ vault. In 2026, the public isn't looking for dribs and drabs or curated leaks. They are looking for the big boy pants transparency Patel promised when he was just a private citizen. Watching Patel's eyes in the final seconds of the clip, you see a man who realizes he's no longer the one asking the questions. He tells the congressman, "You could have shown up with your lawyers." It's a shift from being a leader to being a legalist. This hearing proves that the Black Book isn't just evidence in a criminal case. It's the most powerful political weapon in Washington. If you release it, you destroy 100 careers. If you keep it, you destroy your own credibility. The shocker here isn't that Patel hasn't released the files, it's that he's now using the same excuses that he once called evil when they came from James Comey or Christopher Wray. We are seeing the deep state playbooks being used by the very man who promised to burn them. Thanks for sticking with us through this deep dive. Make sure you like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Is Patel protecting the law, or is he protecting the list? We'll be watching the next round of testimony very closely. Stay informed.